Hello, today's video we're talking about the similarities and differences between narcissism and borderline personality disorder. We can dive right into the video. One of the first things different between NPD and BPD is people that are BPD are more prone to disassociation. They're more prone to psychosis type behaviors. Keep in mind with BPD, you can have co-occurring disorders like bipolar, schizophrenia. You can have co-occurring disorders with borderline personality. Both narcissistic personality and borderline personality are both personality disorders. You can find them both in the DSM. You can find them on Google, Wikipedia. You can find all the symptoms for both of those disorders. Like with a BPD person, you're going to have extreme mood swings. That can be a little bit different with a narcissist person. Usually the narcissist person is sensitive about their self-image, so that's where a lot of their blow-ups are going to be. So if you criticize anything the narcissist person is going to do, they get upset very easily because they have a fragile self-esteem. So you criticizing them is viewed as an attack, and that's why the narcissist becomes angry quicker. But you're going to get more of the inappropriate anger from the borderline person, because it's one of the main symptoms of borderline is that emotional dysregulation. So they're having a hard time managing their emotions, which can lead to inappropriate outbursts, which can lead to, them doing property damage, things outside of the scope of appropriate social norms. Whereas a narcissist person, they're going to do things more behind closed doors. They're going to get upset too. They're going to get angry fast, but it's going to be more behind closed doors because they want to be viewed as that perfect person. They want to be viewed as respected. So they're not going to usually act a fool in public because they're going to do it behind closed doors when they don't have to have the aftermath, of their reputation. The person with BPD, like I said, they're going to have extreme mood swings, disassociation, psychosis, emotional dysregulation. You're going to have that in a larger amount with the person with BPD is going to have a harder time with emotional dysregulation. Usually with a narcissistic person, they're not really driven by fears of abandonment, which the BPD individual is going to be driven by fears of abandonment. So most of the fights with your girlfriend or boyfriend are going to revolve around fears of abandonment. Like she might think, hey, you're going to take a neighbor to work. Your girlfriend might say you're taking a neighbor to work. What is that actually? It's a fear of abandonment. She's worried you're going to start hanging out with the other chick and abandon her. That's what those fights are about. Most BPD fights, if you pay attention, are driven by her fear of abandonment or his fear of abandonment. If a guy calls out their girlfriend for texting a guy on Facebook or liking a guy's Facebook post, the guy is worried that he's going to lose his girlfriend. See how that's a fear of abandonment? So that BPD fight is based on a fear of abandonment. Some of the similarities, impulsive behaviors, both narcissists can be impulsive and BPD. I think you're going to see more of the impulsive behaviors from the BPD person are going to have more impulsive behaviors. They even have something called an impulsive borderline. It's actually one of the segments of borderline can be an impulsive borderline. That's what they call it. With both disorders, you're going to have a lack of empathy, but a borderline individual is going to have a greater ability to be empathic, to understand your emotions. But oftentimes their lack of restraint with their moods, their mood dysregulation, that concern of empathy is going to be confused in the receiving person. Maybe they're confronting you about something, they're angry. You totally miss what they said because the BPD person was screaming at you. So you were in a defensive posture, not really hearing what they say. So concern can be misconstrued as anger, especially if the BPD person is being set off. So the lack of empathy is going to be stronger, in my opinion. With a narcissistic individual, they're going to have a greater lack of empathy. With BPD and narcissism, they're both going to show ghosting behaviors. So a BPD girl's last resort to avoid abandonment might be to abandon you first. So she might ghost you, because a lot of people that diagnose with borderline do have a lack of empathy. Some can be very empathetic. Some of them can show empathy, whereas most narcissists can't do that. Usually narcissists are self-focused, viewing themselves as, the victim in any circumstance, which that's going to be a similarity. Both narcissists and BPD individuals tend to put themselves in a victim stance. I think they do this for emotional support and supply from people around them. You know, if they come off as a victim, they're going to get more help from people. So it's kind of a survival strategy. I think they both disorders use that, the victim mindset, to get extra help from everybody. So mostly focus on self. The narcissist is going to be mostly focused on self. Where the BPD person, yes, they're going to be focused on self, but they also have the ability to think about the other person. Both disorders can become angry quick. Usually with the BPD person, the fights are, like I said, about fears of abandonment. You know, did you take Kathy to work today? And it's a big blow up. Whereas the narcissist person might be getting angry because they're feeling attacked by their girlfriend. The girlfriend's saying, well, hey, why didn't you do the dishes today? Now the narcissist feels like, oh, I'm a bad person, so now I got to lash out because my girlfriend thinks I'm a bad person because I didn't do the dishes. So intense anger, you're going to get that from both disorders, but usually it's for different reasons. One difference with narcissism and BPD is a love-hate cycle is one of the main symptoms of borderline personality. They're going to idealize you and devalue you. Whereas with a narcissistic relationship, they can also devalue, but usually there's a cycle of idealization and devaluement, but it can be a little bit different with a borderline person. The love-hate cycles are more to the borderline individual. The person with borderline is going to have that more predominant love-hate cycle. So idealization and devaluation, you're going to see that with both disorders. You're going to see the idealization cycle and the devaluation cycle with both borderline and narcissism. So that can be a similarity, but they're going to present differently. Both BPD individuals and narcissistic individuals can be prone to cheating because both BPD and narcissists love that constant social supply. They like to have 20 guys to be friends with, you know, where they could hit somebody up, help them with a tire, help them fix their car. You know, one of my previous girlfriends, she would date guys because they were fixing her car. Oh, why are you with Bobby? Oh, he's fixing my car this week. That's why I'm with him. So BPD girls can do some of that impulsive behavior that might not be good for them. Like they're dating a guy because the guy's just fixing their car and they don't want to pay for car supplies. That's some of the impulsive stuff that you might see from an individual that has borderline, is moving in with someone because they're a mechanic, because they don't want to pay for their car. You're not going to really see that so much with a narcissistic individual. You're not going to see as many impulsive behaviors, which with a borderline person, you're going to see a lot of impulsive behaviors. Like they get mad at you and they just block you, or they get mad at you and now they're talking shit to their family about you. You're going to see a lot of impulsive behaviors from a person with borderline. Narcissists tend to be more calculated. They tend to take a 1, 2, 3 step to everything. How is this behavior going to affect me? I think a lot of narcissistic men are less likely to commit crimes because they know what the end result is. I punch this guy, I end up in jail. And they don't want to have the community viewing them as a bad person. So that self-esteem issue is going to most likely make them behave in public because they don't want people to think they're a jailbird. They don't want people to think they're a criminal. So a lot of narcissistic individuals are going to behave in public. A lot of narcissistic individuals with dating, it can be a nightmare because they'll have 5, 6 guys they're dating. If it's a narcissistic female, she might have 5, 6 guys behind the scene that you don't know about. Whereas with a BPD person, they're going to more than likely be more loyal because they like to, the BPD individuals like to cling to their boyfriends. They really do. But the problem with BPD is that love-hate cycle, that idealization, devaluation cycle continues with someone with BPD. So this week, you're the best boyfriend in the world. Next week, they want to put a restraining order on you. That's the idealization, devaluation cycle, which can also be based on a fear of abandonment. Maybe the BPD person is starting to push you away because they're worried you're going to break up with them. So cheating behaviors, you're probably going to see more of that from, in my opinion, you're probably going to see more cheating behaviors from the narcissistic person than the borderline, because the borderline person really does want to cling to you in those positive cycles. They're going to want to cling to you. With a BPD person, you're going to have more unstable relationships, where with a narcissistic cycle, it can go value, devalue, discard. But with a BPD person, you're going to have a more unstable relationship. You're going to have more domestic fights, not necessarily violent, or whereas it can get violent. That's why I recommend, if you're in a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend, get your shoes on and leave the apartment, because you can't end up in jail if you leave the apartment, right? Let's say your BPD girlfriend starts flipping out on you. Get your shoes on and leave. That prevents domestic violence. It prevents any criminal charges. It prevents you from smacking someone when you're mad. It will prevent domestic violence and nip it right in the bud just by you getting your shoes on and leave. So if your BPD girlfriend or your narcissistic girlfriend's flipping out on you, leave the apartment, leave the house, and keep yourself safe and out of jail. So you're going to have more unstable relationships with the BPD relationship. It's going to be way more unstable than a narcissist relationship. But with the narcissist relationship, they probably have people behind the scenes that you don't know about. That's the worst part about the narcissist relationship, is that you may think you're the only guy they're talking to, but they may have other accounts. They're talking to other men behind your back. You're going to get probably less of that with a BPD individual, because they really do want love and connection. A narcissist person really doesn't value others for who they are, but they value the other person more for what they can do for the narcissist. You're going to get less of that from the BPD person. Whereas a BPD person might start a relationship just because she needs somebody in her house. I actually was told by a BPD girl once, that she was sleeping with a guy because she needed him. That would be more like an impulsive borderline, just doing tit for tat. You do this for me, I do that for you. That's more a BPD type of thing. I'm sleeping with Bobby because he's fixing my car. You're going to probably get less of that from the narcissist, because they have so many options. A lot of narcissist individuals have many options. Another difference is that constant need for admiration. You're going to get more of that with a narcissistic individual. They're going to need admiration more often. And finally, another similarity is both narcissistic personality disorder, and borderline personality can actually be formed in childhood from, things like sexual abuse, domestic violence, physical abuse can make someone narcissistic. Daddy was never getting my lunch, so I always had to do it myself. This forms a narcissistic attitude, as fuck everybody else. I can't rely on anyone else. So I'm going to become a narcissistic individual since I can't trust people. Fuck everybody. That's how narcissism is formed. That neglect as a child. You're being neglected. Daddy's not making my peanut butter and jelly. So you start hating people because they're not meeting your needs, and you start realizing, I got to be my own best friend. That's the narcissist. Whereas the BPD person, you got to cut them slack. When they get mad at you, it can be a symptom of their mental illness. They could be mad about something that's not even happening. That's why your job as the loved one, the friend, is just to cut the BPD person slack, understanding this person has a hard time regulating their emotions, emotional dysregulation. So they are going to be flipping out in the kitchen. If you love this person as your friend, as your girlfriend, your job as the boyfriend is to say, do I need to give her space? And if the answer is yes, get your fucking shoes on and leave. This prevents your girlfriend from assaulting you. It prevents you from pushing her back. Let's say she's getting in your face, you push her back. Now that's a domestic violence charge. She'll say that you pushed her. Because often men go to jail for restraining their girlfriends when they were just restraining the borderline girlfriend. They'll end up in jail because she'll have bruises on her from them restraining her. So the best thing you can do is get your fucking shoes on and leave the apartment. If you guys want to check out my brand, which no one has any fucking money right now, you can go to Google and type in Faith Rising on Amazon. That's FAITHRIZING on Amazon. And you'll be able to find my Amazon listings. I have pillows, shirts, everything. Just make sure it says Faith Rising when you get to Amazon. FAITHRIZING. You can find me right through Google. Another great video, guys. If you guys have any comments, please leave it in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys have a blessed day. See you then.